Me when you're not watching my con.
Sure.
I'm not watching it. Get door, yeah?
What the?
They could have rotated down highway, just kill them when they come. Triple low! Two side!
Nice.
Just pickle.
Nice!
Oh, no.
Watch headshot, Nice! Right.
Nice, boys.
Nice, good half, boys. Jump. Let's go, let's get this pistol and rock him.
Un mort BP. Deux morts.
GG ça.
Quad.
Landing open.
Find it
Nice,
dead.
quad.
One more quad low.
So dead.
Amen.
Bing!
Nice!
Can go blue,
Yes,
can go blue.
On site. Dead.
Last guy, spotted.
Let's go,
Nice!
boys.
So, a reminder, of course, that the E-League Major will be going to Boston between the 26th and the 28th, and we've still got some tickets available. We want to sell every last one of them and get a full house. So make sure you're heading over to eleague.com/major to get details of those. We're now going to break down that game here on the analysis desk, and we brought in James and Dan to do just that. And it's appropriate to tire from you, James, because that is a funeral march for ENVYUS, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do wonder where the Envy have gone, who we've been enjoying recently. We've watched a lot of them online,
Well, sometimes
and,
at least.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
There are some bizarre scenarios, and there are some good scenarios as well. That wasn't either of them. That was just a disastrous one, and maybe it was a funeral, but it seemed they may have dug their own grave. They won both pistol rounds, and they got 6 rounds.
Look, that is the bonkers thing, James. They won both pistols.
Yeah, and they won 6 rounds in total.
It's just...
Oh, man.
There's no way to even sell that. Not even
Yeah.
the best used car salesman in the world could sit down and sell me that lemon. It's ridiculous.
I think they had a tough time with their economy on the CT side. I think Cash is one of the more difficult maps because you can't really get up to some shenanigans that you might on maps that aren't so open. So they just suffered incredibly there. And in the second half, they barely existed.
Yeah, I mean, and look, decision-making was really, really poor on ENVYUS as well. And we saw what happened in that second pistol just then. 3-on-3, got the sight. Happy's going to go walkabout. Appropriate, he's up against Australians. And, yeah, he got his head absolutely blown off trying to take a part of the map he did need to secure.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can see sometimes that there's a little bit of complacency just falling into play, and it's perhaps, you know, a symptom of the fact that things are just going a bit poorly at the moment. And generally, like I think with the French teams, we're used to the fact they are quite temperamental, so you don't know exactly, you know, what's going on within the team, and that's always a question mark with ENVYUS. We always have this, for example, when we saw them in E-League previously when they got absolutely smashed by Cloud9, that seemed like, okay, not like they were necessarily playing a bad game. It never felt like they turned up because it felt like there was something going on within the team, and it's always been hard to say with ENVYUS. But decision making, I agree, even in situations on the T side, like we saw towards the end where they had an amazing opportunity. Actually, seeing Renegades playing heavy mid really late was pretty cool because, you know, generally Renegades were a team that you would actually often give up mid. And basically, ENVYUS set themselves up perfectly. They had such an advantageous situation, but they just never made the call to go into the site, to actually make the play. It seems like RPK is that guy, but he can't always be that guy. But that's just the situation with this team. RPK, that's just it. It's RPK usually, isn't it?
Yeah, and Renegades course corrected, did very well. Some positives there, but we're not going to get into it right now because we're going to remind you about the standings at the halfway point of the day. So you can see Mouse Sports up there with 2-0. I think you've got the ones down in the bottom. You can see some 1-alls and some 0s and 2s. Mouse Sports feeling very good about themselves. Flipside and ENVYUS and Avanga certainly keeping each other in the worst kind of company. And just a reminder as well that we will be drawing the next round of games as well at the end of the day, much like we did yesterday. Now, we're going to start breaking down the next game in just a few moments, gentlemen. It's the kind of coin toss match, isn't it, with QB Fire and Flash. And Smick spoke with Waterfalls from QB Fire ahead of that.
With so many teams here, you guys are considered one of the underdogs. So because of that, is it a bit easier to play because there's less pressure on you? Or is it still really nerve-wracking because this is such a big LAN?
So really, we don't have any pressure on us because we are really underdogs, and like it was a big surprise. So that we are here in major because of the system. But for the FREEE guys in my team, it's like their first experience on big stage against very good team. So yeah, they're a bit nervous. So like it was, it shows really in game against Navi that like some guys in my team was really nervous a bit.
And speaking of that game against Na'Vi, it was a 16-8 loss. The first half was actually quite close, 8-7, but it's the second half where things fell apart. So what went wrong on that T side?
So we lost a pistol. We were in free situation. I did a stupid mistake. So after that, like we had some really close rounds, but with really some mistakes we lost. And I don't know, like they snowballed us with Academy, and so.
Well, hopefully today you guys can show a better showing because you're going to be going up against Flash, which is another underdog at this event. So are you feeling a bit more confident going up against them?
Yeah, like it's like the most, I don't know, cool opponent for us from all teams which are here. I don't know. So yeah, we think like we will win. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Waterfalls, and best of luck today.
So Waterfalls are saying that they hope they're going to win. You know, they're not going to have it all their own way, despite Flash not having a lot of preparation time, obviously benefiting from Tyloo not being here, and sort of not their full roster either. They were really good against G2 and could have arguably done even better. So just a few thoughts about this QB Fire and how they're going to be able to sort of match up against Flash, who look very good indeed.
Even though Na'Vi lost to, even though Na'Vi beat QB Fire, I think we saw some good things from QB on their CT side, even in rounds that they lost, which I did allude to after that match. And it seems that if they can come in and be prepared, then they can make some good decisions and are not afraid to make some good reads. However, bearing in mind that they're playing against an opponent which is a replacement team, which isn't even a full team, I don't know how prepared you can be for that. And what's the question mark is if they can adjust on the fly or if they're going to crack under the pressure of the unknown. Yeah, Dan, what did you make of them? Because now I think we can safely say that after watching what Mouse Sports did in Na'Vi, maybe QB5 should have done a little bit better, honestly.
Yeah, and they have this, I mean, there is that underdog quality, which is always going to be very interesting. And the biggest thing for me is always going to be looking at the decision-making, because that's going to be the biggest predictor as to like how a team is actually going to do later on. And how is it that they actually make decisions in the game? How do they think about the game? Because obviously in the past, we've seen teams who have like insane skill, which can get them very deep into a tournament, but it's very inconsistent in nature, and then their results show that. So you can have all the skill in the world, but it's all about the approach for me. And again, we saw some decent fundamentals there, but actually from Flash as well, that's what surprised me about Flash so much. I was like, hang on, these guys are actually playing they have a good structure. They're actually making some good reads as to like what G2 were doing in that match, and they were reacting appropriately on the fly. They had some good mid-round calls to exploit little holes in G2's game, and they ultimately fell down on the skill, but that was still very surprising to me. So I think there's a lot of exciting stuff from both these teams because there is a lot of talent there too. Like Waterfalls himself, like in the past, I remember thinking this guy has a lot of potential to be a great player.
So James, I'll come to you to talk a bit about Flash. As a roster, perhaps people at home don't know too much about them, but I understand that both of you worked on sort of the Asian minor and have seen these teams in the past. Am I correct?
Yeah, we did an Asian minor in Malaysia and saw some of these teams, and there are some familiar faces on this team who I think were previously on Tyloo before. Yeah. Rosters flew around for various reasons, but Flash Gaming themselves, I haven't seen much of them as a unit, apart from yesterday, obviously. So I think this is a match that could go either way. I think they're both capable of winning, obviously completely unfamiliar with each other. I would say that Flash have a disadvantage in a situation. I did mention yesterday that they have teams from that region have just got less exposure to the European teams, and that is a problem, especially when you have to try and make a read of what your team is doing and try and make the right decisions. But people like Attacker, Lovey, we've seen them on other teams before, so maybe they can bring some of that more exposed experience to the rest of the players.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I thought even guys like KZ, and which I believe is how you say it, really had a decent game against G2. They certainly showed the aim is there, right? They were able to win duels against one of these alleged super teams, even if they are down in the doldrums right now.
I mean, we saw actually, I think, KZ. I was actually wondering how it was properly pronounced, because
I think it is KZ. Yeah. We got a list of all the phonetic names, so again, I do apologize to any Chinese fans out there if I'm getting that wrong. But
ironically, we are all men of the Z and not the Z.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was wondering where it's going with that for a second. I was like, wait.
am I in a gang which means that I didn't know about it? We are all the men of the Z.
We were playing.
Right.
We were playing Mutang at quarter to 8 in the morning. So we're definitely in the gang.
But look, so just before we get into predictions, and I got a good feeling for Flash actually of this. So QB Fire chose Inferno, which Flash did pretty well on yesterday against G2, and Flash are going to be starting on the CT side. So I'll stay with you, Dan, since we went a bit Z crazy over there.
I'm going to definitely pick Flash. That was my prediction. And as you say, with Inferno being the map, and I think that was one of the points I was thinking of making quickly, just the fact that with these two teams, maps are going to be an issue. So Inferno, we know both teams are going to be comfortable there. It's a classic, so I'm going to go Flash.
James, your thoughts?
I'm going to go with QB. I think they had a good performance, even in the rounds they lost on Inferno, especially on their CT side. I think they should do better against this team, unless they make the kind of reads that work against Na'Vi. Against this team, that might be a problem, but still, QB for me.
All right, well, we'll be back to talk about it, but now we are going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into this 50-50 game and see who's going to win, so make sure you join us.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here. Day 2 of the E-League Mains. You're now at the Boost Mobile casting desk with Moses. We're about to get into the next game. QB Fire versus Flash Gaming. How do you feel about that?
It feels like there's going to be two games going on here, and there's just going to be Flash versus QB Fire, and there's going to be the game of us pronouncing the aliases of the QB Fire names.
Listen, we've done a little bit of research. We're trying, we're doing the best that we can.
Bear with us on that one. It is going to be a bit wacky, but this is going to be cool because I mean these are kind of the two teams who, it's always that Counter-Strike that has a lot of mistakes in it.
Yes.
But they're just going to be going like hardcore at each other. This is going to be like a lot of aiming, a lot of just straight up battles.
I was loving Flash Gaming yesterday. I thought they were so cool, and I was on board with the whole story of them upsetting and maybe even beating their opponents. I thought it was going to be great, but now instead here they are, down a game, both of them, and we'll see what happens. Going to be on Inferno, and already Quick has picked up 1 kill there against Lovey.
Yes, and that was instant. This was the side of Inferno that Flash really struggled on against G2. Obviously looking much better on the T side. They've now lost the A bomb site. It's going to have to be a 4-on-5 retake attempt, and there's currently a smoke in the choke point. So it's not looking the most likely of scenarios. Karsa's going to be flanking around brackets. He's going to have a big job to do. Waterfalls watching for the flank into halls.
It's very difficult to try and wrap this bomb site. Once the bomb's down for a while, as it has been now, Karsa's certainly trying. Summer's going to take down Waterfalls, and now Jimka coming up from behind, looking for the opening, but missing a lot of shots. Gets the headshot eventually. Now it's Attacker and Casey left trying to get onto the bomb site. Attacker gets 1 headshot. It's down 1 versus 1, trying for it, but he gets down instead. And it will be QB Fire picking up the early round here. Bit of a tension at the end there.
I was going to say, that got way closer than I expected. Jimka just barely pulling it off. He's going to go for the AK purchase, but it's such a tough scenario to be in when you have to retake and you haven't had any damage dealt to the opponents of the terrorists as they've made their way into that site in the post plant. But still, they almost make it work, and there's going to be 4 SMGs bought up by QB Fire.
Yeah, and just for reference, that's Jimka, Valina, and Boomich.
Boomich and Kavik is Quick.
Yeah. So laugh us on social media if we got all that wrong, but you know, we're really doing the best that we can.
I believe I was told yesterday that Kaze is actually Kaze or something like that.
I think the desk just said Casey.
Casey?
Casey?
Okay.
I don't know. It's very tricky. But yeah, we'll do the best that we can. Message us an update if we're getting it all wrong. Quick trade early on there. It's Jimka for Summer. And that was going to leave it in a 4 versus 4. Although a lot of damage here to QB Fire, which is very worrisome. I feel like Inferno is one of those maps where you can't take it for granted that you're going to get that second round.
Yeah.
You need to use the utility. Molotov, close range, make sure they don't hide in the corners and all that stuff.
You essentially have to treat it as a gun round. And the tough part is, with this damage, that makes these CZs even more dangerous. It's going to be Karsa and KZ over towards the B bomb site. Just a pretty standard crossfire, but there's a nice shot with the Deagle. That might have been right through the smoke.
Lights off all the way into the dark. There's Karsa again, picking up 1 kill on Waterfalls. Now, a lot of trouble here. Valina and Boomich trying to fall back into the middle. Lovey goes down, so now they at least have a straight run to the A-bomb site. They're going to get the bomb plant down. That's certainly going to help.
That awareness to check that spot as you're just running by, as you're trying to get to the A site as quick as possible, that might have just saved the round. It's a post-plant scenario. They're going to have good positions. They have Boomich in the pit with an AK-47, able to use that range, and there's only been 1 SMG picked up by Karsa. The other 2 are pistols, and Boomich is just waiting for someone to come around the corner, and here it is.
Such a versatile position, that one. Up on the bicycle down there, he's still going to go down and tackle way too accurate. And they're going to have time for the defuse as well. So huge turnaround for Flash Gaming very early on, showing the power of the C-75. It's made such a big return in Counter-Strike now.
It really has, hasn't it? And it's bringing back nightmares, I would imagine. PTSD for a lot of players, a lot of viewers as well. It can be such a tough gun to stop because of how good it is in terms of its rate of fire, in terms of its mobility. And this is, yeah, this is just a timing.
Yes.
And well, that's what happens when you peek KZ with the Deagle. The Juan Deagle.
Definitely a very good job. You have to appreciate that. QB Fire, though, losing the round. Not going to be completely deterred, though. Going to continue the buy here. Triple AK, C-set 75, and the UMP on Jimka. So maybe they can still get something done. I don't mind this. I mean, it's a 1-on-1 at the end there. Or 1-on-2, I guess. But still, not much money on Flash.
Still going to make a go for it, and getting tagged through the smoke is Waterfalls. He's just trying to push up mid. This looks like a contact play. That smoke comes out just in time. I thought maybe they might try and peek right in front of it, but Boomich kind of gives it up. Kaze coming right behind the smoke. And really, QB Fire has nowhere else to go. This can be so tough. Summer out here to the left. Is he going to look for it? Not even aware that it's a possibility. There's the Famas, 2 kills. Going for more, and he gets taken down eventually, but the damage is done, and they've denied the map control as well.
Pushing through the smoke is almost always a bad idea, but they really almost get the kill. Casa just falling back behind corner there. He almost took down Waterfall, so bit of an interesting fight going on. 50 seconds still on the clock, but it looks like they're grouping up all outside of B. Lovey's in a strange position over Rene. He can't really do much from inside that bomb site, whereas Attacker can go and help out here. So let's see if they get the info quick enough to flashbang in to take the peek. KZ almost going down. Now they're in trouble.
That's an awkward peek, and the UMP still alive. So much damage. Waterfalls and Molina are kind of made passive. That peek didn't need to happen. Thankfully, Attacker's here, though. And quick, this better be a stellar shot, and it is. It's now down to KZ, and he can do nothing. Somehow, QB Fire has turned this around. Lovey's in a 1-on-2. Low HP players, but he's got to find him, and he's going to start losing track of where each player could be. In fact, he has no clue there's one in Banana.
Molotov to clear out one corner. That just leaves the other 10 on this bomb site. So still so much work to do, and you need to move a lot quicker than this. There's going to be a couple of taps at least where you have to fake them out, and even then, you're going to take the fight with them anyway. They're going to peek from both angles. There's one kill, but the other one's still...
I am throwing a flashbang! Grenade! Smoke! Throwing flashbang. Smoke! Laying down smoke. Throwing smoke. Terrorists win. Thank you, my friend. Let's have at it, mates. Grenade out! I am throwing a grenade! Grenade! Throwing a flashbang! I am throwing a flashbang! Laying down smoke. Throwing smoke. Throwing a flashbang. Throwing fire. Flashbang. Planting. Bomb has been planted. Smoke. Molotov. We are going to do this. Terrorists win. Let's make this right as rain. Grenade out. Decoys out. Fire. Smoke. Throwing smoke. flashbang. Flashbang. Roger that. Let's go. Roger that. I am throwing a grenade. Grenade out. The terrorists win. Now we're really laying into them. Now we're getting stuck right into them. Roger that. Roger. Roger that. Easy from me, bro. Deploying flashbang. Deploying fire. That's a negative. Cheers, big fella. Affirmative. Roger that. Come on, chop, chop. Throwing fire. Grenade out. Grenade out. Grenade. Grenade. Throwing flashbang. Throw in smoke. Throw in a flashbang. Flashbang. I am throwing smoke. Flashbang. Molotov. Incendiary out. I am throwing a flashbang. Throwing fire. Throwing smoke. The bomb. Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win. Let's go, son. Throw Cancel that. Smoke! Flashbang! Fire! Laying down smoke. I am throwing a flashbang! I am throwing smoke. I am throwing smoke. Throwing smoke. Smoke. Throwing a flashbang. Throwing flashbang. I am throwing a grenade. Terrorists win. All right, all right. That's a no. Thank you. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Throwing fire. Flashbang. Throwing flashbang. Incendiary out. Smoke. Laying down smoke. Throwing smoke. Flashbang. Smoke. Throwing smoke. Deploying flashbang. Flashbang. I am throwing smoke. Throwing fire. Defusing the bomb. Defusing. Get ready, get ready. through them. Go, go, go. Molotov. Molotov. Grenade. Smoke. Smoke. Laying down smoke. Throw in smoke. Bomb has been planted. Incendiary out. Terrorists win. They can't stop the bomb now. Come on, chop, chop. Smoke. Deploying flashbang. Flashbang. Grenade. I am throwing a grenade. Grenade. Deploying flashbang. Throwing smoke. Flashbang. I am throwing smoke. Laying down smoke. Throwing smoke. Throwing fire. Flashbang. Flashbang. Throwing flashbang. Gotta go. I am planting the bomb. Bomb has been planted. I'm defusing the bomb. No, sir. Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win. Negative. Yes. Come on, let's go. Grenade! Yes, agreed. Planting. Bomb has been planted. Diffusing. Agreed. Let's go. Give it to them, boys. Yes. Throwing fire. They are throwing a flashbang. Smoke. Throwing a flashbang. Smoke. Throwing smoke. down smoke. Smoke. Throw in smoke. Going on a windy walk here. I am throwing a flashbang. Throwing fire. Throwing a flashbang. Flashbang. I am throwing a flashbang. Fire. Smoke. I am throwing smoke. Smoke. Throwing fire. Throwing a grenade. Smoke. Throwing smoke. Throwing a grenade. Smoke. Deploying flashbang. Laying down smoke. I am throwing smoke. Flashbang! Insane. Wouldn't mind using it. Incendiary out. Throwing fire. Grenade out. Throwing smoke. Let's move out. Grenade! Grenade out! Throwing fire! Laying down smoke. Incendiary. Moving done. Grenade out. Throwing fire. Incendiary. Smoke. Throwing smoke. Smoke. Throw in smoke. Throwing fire. Throwing flashbang. Throwing fire. Incendiary out. Throw in a flashbang! Throw in smoke. Flashbang! Deploying flashbang. I am throwing smoke. Smoke! I am planting the bomb. Bomb has been planted. Grenade! Flashbang! friend. Negative. No, my friend. We are out of here. Throw in a decoy. The grenade is ours. Throwing flashbang. Fire. Incendiary. I'll throw in a flashbang. Deploying flashbang. Laying down smoke. Throw in a flashbang. Smoke. Throwing a grenade. Laying down smoke. Smoke? Throwing smoke. Throwing fire. Flashbang. Throwing fire. Terrorists win. Forward. Grenade out. Incendiary out. Grenade. I am throwing a flashbang. Grenade out. Laying down smoke. Incendiary. Flashbang. Grenade out. Smoke. Incendiary out. Throwing a grenade. Counter-terrorists win. We're getting stuck right into them. Basically friends. Flashbang. Throwing flashbang. Deploying flashbang. Throwing fire. Throwing smoke. Smoke. Grenade. Laying down smoke. Throw in a flashbang. Flashbang. Throwing fire. Terrorists win. Grenade. Grenade out. Throwing smoke. Throwing smoke. Incendiary. Laying down smoke. Deploying flashbang. Smoke. Throw in smoke. Throw in a flashbang. Incendiary out. Grenade out. Throwing flashbang. Throwing fire. I am throwing fire. They think they can kill me. I see our enemy. They are shooting at me. Woohoo! Let's go, fellas. Yes. Throwing smoke. Molotov. Throwing fire. Throwing a flashbang! Deploying flashbang. I am throwing a flashbang! Grenade! Fire! Flashbang. Smoke! Laying down smoke. Flashbang! Incendiary out. Grenade. Smoke. Throw in a flashbang. Incendiary. Throwing flashbang. Throwing flashbang. Throwing smoke. Deploying flashbang. Defusing.
Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win.
Thank you. Now you're right on. You're right on. Move it, move it. Decoy. Smoke. Throwing fire. I am throwing a flashbang. Grenade out. Throwing a grenade. Grenade out. Throwing fire. Flashbang. Laying down smoke. Throwing smoke. Molotov. I am throwing smoke. Incendiary. Grenade out. Throwing smoke. Laying down smoke. 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 Throwing fire. Throwing flashbang. Throwing smoke. Planting. I'm defusing the bomb. Come on, chop chop.
Counter-terrorists win.
Bingo, bango, bongo.